coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today we're taking a look at Ion, a compound building game by John J. Coview and Genius Games. So for the number of players, I give this game a B+. I think it plays from 2 to 7 players, and I think that is it's fun as a 2-player game. It's even better when you play with more players for the style of game that it is, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But 2 to 7 players is a great number, so that's why I give it a good rating with a B+. But to really reach that A level, I think you would want to be accommodating at least half the class, if not more, in one game, which this game isn't going to do, but still accommodates a good chunk of people, which is why I give it a B+. So for the learning, I give this game an A. And I give this game an A because as a person who discontinued my studies of science back in grade 10 of high school, I found myself learning so much science from this game. The game isn't one of those kinds of games that you might have typically have seen like 10, 20 years ago, like what is the atomic weight of argon and how many covalent bonds are in a blah 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 and whatever. No, this game, you're just playing a game that you are learning as you play it, and you're making the connections as you're making, bonding these elements into different things. Oh, I made NaCl, sodium chloride. Oh, I made salt. And those are things I've learned from the game. I didn't know these things before I played the game, but NaOH is soap. I'm learning these things, so it's wonderful. It's a great learning tool, and I think the learning that happens is amazing, and that's why I give it an A. I give the fun an A as well. I think that the game is fantastically fun. Now, card drafting, the main mechanic in this game is what's called card drafting. And I'll show more about that a little bit later, about how that works. But card drafting has to be probably my favorite, if not one of my favorite mechanics in a game. I love the whole drafting system. I just think it's so much fun. And so this is what it is, a card drafting game. If you are familiar with the game Sushi Go, I mean, it really felt like that to me, and a lot of other people I've played with have said the same thing. Very much like Sushi Go, but instead of with sushis, you're playing with elements, and you're building these compounds and such. And there's a little bit more to it, and there's other things you add into it as well. But it's a fun, fast game, and that's why I give it an A. As a side note, I would like to add that if you take into account that I'm looking at this game as a game. If you take into account of this game as a teaching tool, would I rather be teaching playing a game, or would I rather be teaching using a textbook? You could use either to teach the subject of polyatomic ions and compounds and neutrally charged compounds and noble gases. Both can do the job. But if you think about this game versus a textbook, this suddenly rockets up to an EG A+, or how many pluses you want to add, I don't know. But I mean, students every time, I think, would rather choose something like this to learn from. Sure, the textbook will be more efficient, will be more specific on things, but this is a great launching point into the thing. So I think hook them with the fun, get the lessons in afterwards, tie it all together, and you have a winner. I give the time an A. I think that the game takes between 20 to 30 minutes. Your average high school period is between 40 to 60 minutes. So that if you have the game set up by the time the students come in, you can quickly get to it. If it's a 60-minute period, you can easily play twice in one period once the students are familiar with the rules. Even in a 40-minute period, you can easily get at least one game in, and then maybe have some time for some discussion and things afterwards. It easily fits into one period of a high school science class, so A. For the cost, I give it a B+. I mean, as far as board games go nowadays, it's relatively cheap. I mean, you're going to be looking at about $20 to $25. LevelUp.ca doesn't have any of these in stock right now. She, as I believe, is in contact with Genius Games and will be getting them in soon. But I think they're going to run about $20 to $25, which is, as I say, a very good price for what you're getting here. The only downside is you probably want, if you're going to be doing this as a full class all at one time, you would be wanting multiple copies. Now, you could do centers or groups, and this could be one of the groups of things that people are playing, in which case then, yeah, one copy is going to do you just fine, and then it's a great buy. So in conclusion, I just want to say if you're a high school science teacher, I would highly recommend that you go check out Genius Games. Not only because of Ion, a compound building game, but all of the other games and all of the other books and things that they have out there that are just teaching and taking the teaching, making the learning fun. For high school level stuff, like I said, there's stuff on, there's Ion, there's a game called Cytosis, which is about cellular biology. A lot of great resources out there to just make the learning fun. And again, that has been my whole mandate all my years as a teacher, but especially now as the board game teacher on YouTube. I want to look at what can we do to make the learning fun, and Genius Games, they're getting it right. Well, that's going to be it for today. Until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so